Welcome to Cybersecurity Sense, a weekly podcast providing updates and insight into the latest in cybersecurity. Brought to you by LBMC Information Security. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LBMC Cybersecurity Sense. This is your host, William Parks, here yet again with another episode. In last episode, we talked with Daniel Nguyen, a pen tester on the team, and this time we have the ever so infamous bill.dean here with us. Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Well, I am. I'm good. How are you doing, man?
Oh, we're good. We're making it. It's a Friday. Can't complain. Everything's good. So
cool. Well, man, I don't know if I've told you. I think I have, but I'm so glad you decided to work here full time after a record-setting 3 internships. You've been a phenomenal addition to our group, man.
You already know we had to do it, Bill. Three times the charm. At 3 points, at 3 internships. If I didn't decide to work here, something would have been seriously wrong.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely glad you have.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, and same goes to you as being the manager of the team and the shareholder of all of us. You do an incredible job. And honestly, that's 3/4 of the enticing reason to stay here as well, is because of just how well you manage us and how well you treat us. And we have nothing but amazing things to say about you and how the team is, which was definitely cultured from you. So I know Daniel and I spoke about that a little bit on the last podcast too.
Cool. Keep the talent happy and everything will work out. You folks are a pleasure to work with.
That's right. Well, so we can get all the small talk out of the way, but everybody, here's the real reason why we have Bill on here. We have a semi-big announcement. We are having a new service line that's going to be rolled out here pretty soon. So, Bill, why don't we kind of jump into that and explain to people what it's really about so they can kind of get the meat of the podcast, you know?
Sure. Well, so we've launched we've coined Advanced Guard. So our team, as you were part of that, we spent a lot of time on this. And I guess kind of the genesis of it, you know, I've had the luxury of being in a similar role here in another company for probably 12, 13 years. I remember, this is how long I've been doing this. I remember when Heartbleed came out in like 2014. Well, and that was actually, and that was actually the genesis of this, because I was leading a pen testing team then also, and all of our annual pen test clients were calling us. They were like, are we susceptible to this? Are we patched against this? What are we going to do? And I'm like, oh man, I don't know. You know, we're not engaged with you throughout the year. It was a one-time pen test we did 11 months ago. Let me pull the scans and work. And of course, you know, we're not under a contract with the clients, but we're going to help the clients. And so, you know, we're doing that, and we need to do our billable work. And it was just kind of, I'm like, man, there has to be a better way. And it kind of went dormant for a little bit. I couldn't build on it, but then Log4j came out, and it was the same situation. I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So probably a couple of years, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, because most of the time our clients, they're doing the annual pen test or the purple team, or, you know, something in which we're engaged for a small period of time, but we can add so much value to the client throughout the year. I'm like, how can we really do this and add a lot of value? So, you know, over time, we've just spent a lot of time going back and forth and trying to find ways that we could build a program in which most of our clients, as you know, we've got over 400 pen testing clients, from 10 people to Fortune 50 clients. They don't have red teams. They have phenomenal blue team. They have the technology. They have the controls. And that's where our purple team became popular. And I'm like, man, how can we be an extension of our clients' teams as red teamers? You know, what would you have red teamers do? And I always approach things like, if not as a consultant or a shareholder, it's more of if I'm a business, what would I want? What would I add value? And so that's the perspective I was kind of taking. I'm like, how can we do continuous threat assessments throughout the year? Do, you know, monthly red team activities to help them build their posture overall, and, you know, do the annual security training and actually do tabletops and just be an extension of that team. And so that's how, you know, as a group, as you recall, we've been talking about this for a while. That's where Advanced Guard kind of came from.
Right. And it's been a long time coming too. I want to remind people on the podcast too, you know, Bill was talking about how, you know, clients that come to us, and we did a pen test for them 11 months ago. It's important to remember that pen test we did 11 months ago was a showcase of how your security was at that time, not necessarily how it is now. So you would have to get another pen test. You'd have to dive through a whole bunch of other stuff. Whereas if you had Advanced Guard, you could kind of see right then and there, because if we're contracted out like a red team, in essence, like a red team, similar to a red team, we would have more up-to-date knowledge of your infrastructure and what's going on the network. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I guess the best analogy, so a couple of things come up as we're having these conversations, and the clients love it, but they're trying to fit it into their mindset. And so they're
Right.
like, well, doesn't the pen test make us more secure? Well, I'm a little older than you, William. So every year I get my annual physical. That physical doesn't make me healthy. That's the checkpoint. How healthy am I?
Right.
So to be honest, when you get my age, you start cheating about 6 weeks before that physical because you want to do well on the physical. I say that because our clients do that often. But so that's not making me healthy. However, my nutritionist, my trainer, the martial arts training, the diet, everything that I'm doing throughout the year is what makes me healthy.
Right.
That checkpoint. And so that's, to me, a pen test is that checkpoint. How secure are you? I'm probably not going to make you friends with this, but I don't think pen tests make you more secure. They help you determine how secure you are.
Right.
A program like Advanced Guard, however someone designs it, when you're doing that stuff monthly on a prescription, will make you more secure throughout the year to be better at that pen test. And so that's where I'm really excited about this, is because I feel like we're making our clients secure, not just testing the level of their security.
Right. That's a great analogy, honestly. I mean, I can't think of a more relatable thing. I mean, even though I'm not the same age, but like as far as just turning into terms of, hey, how do you treat your health, and then how do you treat your doctor's visits along with your health? Because it is true. It shows you how healthy you really are. They don't make you healthier. You have to go through and take those steps on your own to make sure that you're keeping up the consistency that you need to with all the things you have to do.
Yeah, and throughout the year, you may be seeing your specialized physician or whatever because my knees hurt or whatever that is, but that's not your physical. Your physical, that is a point in time. How healthy are you based on your habits throughout the year?
Right, right. And so important to go off that too. So as far as having red team throughout the year, what service lines are included within Advanced Guard? Are there different service lines? Is it just one service line? Or how is the pricing model kind of laid out? There's a bunch I'm kind of jumping into, but we'll just keep it as simple as possible. Is it like hey, I want to do this, here's the flat rate fee? Or is it adjusted, customized based on your organization and your needs?
So what we're trying to do is, I use the term prescription because that analogy seems to work. What we want to do is acting as that external red team as part of the group. So our clients get what we call the trust advisor. I know that's a term used a lot, but we're meeting with our client once or twice a month. We're part of that group and we're doing the basics. So there's the baseline of, we want to do your vulnerability scans. It's really hard for us to assist you if we don't know what your posture looks like. We're going to be doing the external asset inventories, and we're going to be creating databases for our clients to say, all right, here are the assets we know about. We know that you have this version of a next-gen firewall. This is the level of software that you're at. So when the heartbleed comes, we can quickly go to that database and say, here are the 7 clients we need to reach out to right now. And so when we have someone on what I call Overwatch, they're kind of watching the threat intel. They're running the scans for that period of time for all the clients. And the threat intel comes out that says, oh, this particular platform has a critical vulnerability, take Log4j. We can quickly go to our client's database and say, it's not the carte blanche. Everyone needs to take a look at this. Well, that may or may not apply to them. We know what applies to them. So we're reaching out with that. So that's the baseline. And then we do other baseline things. Everyone wants to know, is our data already on the dark web? So we're doing the dark web searches. Those are kind of the baseline things that we're doing throughout the engagement. But then we get into the specialty red team items. So I looked at all of the services that our clients are doing one-offs. And I'm like, well, how can we build this over time to make them more secure on the building blocks? So we'll do an Active Directory audit. Then, the next month we will do a password audit. Then, we'll kind of get into security awareness training. And then the big one we're really doing a lot of now is the O365 security reviews. Everyone's moving to a cloud platform. It can be O365 or it can be Google Suite. But we're looking at that cloud infrastructure. And then we'll do a purple team for a day. Then we'll spend maybe a month and try to do some remediation with the client. And then we get back into the cadence of dark web searches. And then the tabletop. As you know, I do a lot of these tabletops. So much value in those. Then we'll do another purple team. So, that's the base service of what we just call Advanced Guard.
Right.
Which those are built in. The Advanced Guard Plus platform, we get additional time with our clients because they've trusted us to add value. And it's pretty much for a day or two every month, they can do whatever they want to do. Working with us, we'll say, man, you should really, you just set up a new wireless network. Let's test that segmentation for you. Or there's a new API on your website. it is pretty much customized as to what you would hire a company to do for the red teamers. And so a lot of the value we bring, I was looking through the kind of just the experience level of our group, and we have a phenomenal group. I'm somewhat biased, but combined, we have almost 80 years experience in red team. And so if you just take Matt Smith, he's been doing this for 22 years. And,
Right.
Matt and I have worked together for 15 years now. And so our group collectively with 80 years of experience, man, we can add so much value to a company at a really good price point. It's going to be priced where it's less than what an FTE would be. So, the base advanced guard, which is very good, it's going to start at about $70,000.
Okay.
But if you want the Advanced Guard Plus, in which you get to have the a la carte, we want this, we want that, it's closer to the 100,000. So it's somewhat of an investment, and I realize that, but the return I think is huge, because if you were to take all of these services and combine them, the cost would be twice that easily. But because we're engaged with the client throughout the year and we're working with them, we can prescribe what we feel is what's best for them based on their cybersecurity posture.
Right. Is it a monthly kind of? So you said $100,000. I'm guessing that's an annual contract, correct?
It is an annual contract. For them, for the clients to get the full value, they really need to endure the entire program.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm avoiding the term subscription. It's more of an annual commitment in which we're
Right.
going to be engaged. But yeah, it is on an annual basis.
Okay.
If we back off of that, then we're going to have to start doing the one-offs again. And after you get about 5 of those one-offs, you might as well buy the entire package.
Exactly. You're at that point, you've already spent the cash that you would have on the whole package, and you would get more out of the package at that point.
Yeah, and because we're involved, our team is big enough that we have silos of expertise, as you know.
Right.
And so if they've invested in Advanced Guard, the pen test is going to be less effort. So the pen test team would be different from the Advanced Guard team for that client. So we'll give discounts, 10% discounts on your annual pen test, 10% discounts on any incident response, because we already know the environment so well. We don't have to spend as much time trying to figure out what's going on.
Exactly. It makes our job so much easier.
Yeah, and that's where, and just knowing the personalities of each of you, which are each unique, by the way, I just feel that, sometimes we don't know that we're adding the value that we think that we can. And I think that you folks would really be fully vested in throughout the year making that client more secure, because as we are maturing, there's always a maturation process, but we're beginning to realize that it's not about hacking systems. It's really about making our clients more secure. And so I think we take a lot of pride in looking at a client and say, we've worked with them for a year. We feel much better about the position we put them in.
Right. I think that's something that's unique about our team too, is because, I know people on other teams elsewhere where it's more so about the ego trip of, well, I broke into this computer and I did this. And in reality, if you can't really explain or help that person out or actually help them to understand how they're being more secure, what they can do to be more secure, you're not providing much value there. You're just kind of doing things to do them and then publish them online and whatever. So I think that speaks a lot to our team, because all of us here on the team really want to form that relationship with the client and actually push further to help them advance and get better at their security, while helping reaffirm them, hey, we made this change, or we tested this. Yes, it's secure. Yes, it's not secure. Let's go back. Let's fix it. Let's figure out what's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, if your doctor comes to you after your physical and says, man, your blood pressure is 160 over 120, and just looks at you, he didn't really help you until he gives you some ways to make that better.
Right.
And yeah, and I know sometimes frustration is not the right term, but we feel we can add more value because we're only engaged for a small period of time for the annual pen test. This way, we are engaged with that client throughout the year.
And I was actually about to add this in there too. There have been several internal discussions. I mean, I've even had this with people too. I know this has been a thing. Bill, you've been involved with these as well. But yeah, it's frustrating whenever you're trying to pen test something, you just don't have enough time, and you feel like there's really something there, but you don't have enough time to get into it or to be able to really expose what the issue is. So by having this, that gives us a better opportunity, gives you more value, and we can actually do a deeper dive and figure out, hey, is there really an issue here or is there not?
Yeah. And at what I would consider a minimal investment compared to the return, you get all of that value throughout the year. And a question that comes up, even with our business development folks, even within our team and clients that, are engaging us to do this now, the first question is, well, does this replace my pen test?
Right.
To be honest, William, we have a lot of clients that are getting an annual pen test. They're not getting any better. They should really redirect that investment into this. Right. So Does this replace the pen test? No. But if you really want to feel good about your security posture, this is a better investment because, like the physical analogy, or getting a physical, the pen test doesn't make you secure. It tests the security for that point in time.
Right. So how often would the testing occur? So is it on a monthly basis? How are we designing this so that way we can continuously provide value throughout the whole year?
Sure. What I'll do, actually, I'll give you the advanced guard schedule or the prescription. I'll provide, a screenshot of this to you. If you want to publish it with the actual podcast,
we can throw it into the description. It'll be a link thrown into the description below the episode, everybody. So if you want to see this, check in the description and we'll make sure to have a link there to it.
Yeah, and then also we can provide links to the website that has the same thing. So hopefully I will approve the final verbiage for that by the time this goes live. But yeah, it's easier to kind of look at. But you can see the baseline. Then you can see, and again, this is a suggestion. It can be modified as to what the client actually needs.
Okay, perfect. And honestly, I think we've really kind of. Is there anything else you want to cover? I think we've kind of hit everything on it.
I don't think so. I talk about this so often, almost every day. I think I get into talking points, but you haven't been privy to all those same types of conversations that I'm having with the clients. But you think like a client oftentimes, as you've mentioned. Anything, is if you're interested in this as a client, based on your perception, I am. What else? What else would you ask about this, or did I miss anything when trying to kind of explain where our excitement about this and how I really am certain that this is going to be helpful for our clients?
Bill, I think you hit all the points right on the head. I think we hit it. If anybody has any more questions, and I know we've done this on past podcasts as well, but Bill, would you mind if I put your email in the description too, so people could just reach out directly to you if they have a question?
Oh, certainly, please.
Perfect. Okay, because I know that we do that with the PCI, so I know that that's actually been pretty successful with a few of the other people that we've done it with. So if anybody has any extra questions, if I did not think like you and you have more questions, feel free to email Bill. It'll be bill.dean@lbmc.com, and then you can find it down below. And I think that's really it. It's pretty simple.
You do an awesome job with this podcast, William. I really appreciate you taking this over.
No, I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you for the kudos, and thank you for coming on and talking today.
Awesome. Anytime, just give me a shout.
All righty. Thank you again for listening to LBMC Cybersecurity Sense. This is William Parks, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.